This class is part of the Goodbye 2021, Hello 2022 Journaling Extravaganza. This is a series of classes for digging deep into the magic that's available to you now and using it to create your best new year ever. These courses are sponsored by Dreambook. Dreambook is a support system for growing your dreams, yourself, and your whole life. It's a light on the path in the form of an online membership, with classes, tools, and support for gathering up the gifts of doing the deeper inner work and using it to fuel your dreams in the outer world. Join Dreambook today, and together we will create your best possible 2022. Find out more at creativedreamincubator.com. Okay, we've done a lot of dreaming and visioning and looking at 2022 from different perspectives to get a sense of how you want to create your new year. Now it's time to bring it all together and come up with a plan for how you're going to accomplish this, or how you're going to try. Remembering, of course, that one of the best ways to make things happen is just to keep showing up. Keep trying things, learning as you go, applying what you learn to the next things you try. Remembering also that it's totally normal for fears and doubts to creep in at this point. When you start making a plan to craft your dreamiest year, of course, this is one of the places where your fears and doubts are going to be triggered. This is a part of the process. We have to practice showing up for our dreams, even when we're afraid, even when we're unsure, even when we have no clue how. So you practice by showing up and doing your best. So make sure you're comfy where you're sitting, let your eyes close, and give yourself a moment to arrive here, ready to make your amazing plan for your amazing new year. Imagine a ball of iridescent light hanging above you, and let this sparkling light shine down on you. Imagine this light has the power to connect you more deeply to your inner truth, to your creative genius, to the most wise, brave, and creative part of you. The part of you who does know how to create everything you want for 2022. And a little reminder here is that the part of you who knows how to create everything you want for 2022 is willing to just try your ideas, even if you fail, even if it doesn't go as planned, learn from each time, and then try again. So it's not about being perfect and that there's this part of you who knows how to do this without any difficulties or uncomfortable moments along the way. It's about the part of you who is more committed to your dreams than committed to staying comfortable. So imagine this part of you, just whatever comes to mind here is perfect. Imagine that there's this part of you, your wisest, bravest, most creative self. And imagine putting this part of you, your creative genius, into the driver's seat. We're going to let this part of you make your plan for 2022. So really get into the feeling of this here. You're planning from your wisest, most creative, most brave self. But now, how you do your plan is going to depend on a lot of things, but one thing is pretty consistent for all plans is that you've got to be flexible. You cannot plan your year today and expect to stick to everything perfectly all year long and expect everything to go perfectly all year long. That is setting yourself up for failure. But similarly, if you just don't know how to make a plan because you don't know how to do some of the things that you want to do, that doesn't mean you're setting yourself up for failure. There is a magic that happens when you show up consistently over time. That's the magic you're going to use to make all of your wishes, goals, and dreams for 2022 happen. So I want you to write that down in your journal or your planner right now. There is a magic that happens when I show up consistently over time. This is the magic I will use to make my wishes, goals, and dreams for 2022 happen. So there may be plans you want to make, as in to-do lists and schedules. I love to-do lists and schedules, but first, I want you to think about making a plan for how you're going to show up consistently all year long. How are you going to support yourself in doing this? You might not know right now. I want you to just sit with the question and give it some space. How are you going to make a plan to show up consistently all year long? So the Year of Dreams 2022 does include a monthly check-in with your vision, a whole page at the start of each month to remind you to check in with the vision you're creating now, space to journal about how it's all going, having that space to reflect and write each month, also the reminder to do it. That's where you're going to figure out a lot about how to do the things you want to do. There's also a whole page at each new moon to set our goal or intention for what you want to focus on for the next month. That way you can break your goals down into month-sized pieces because it's easier to focus on smaller pieces at a time. And of course, you can join me in Dreambook for 2022, where we have a daily mastermind around showing up and doing whatever inner or outer work is needed, with an in-depth class and a whole library of tools for building the path that leads to your dream. Those are a few forms of support you can get for this. There are a lot of forms of support out there. If you sat with this question and you're not quite sure about this part, just keep coming back to it. Keep thinking about it over the next couple of weeks. Give yourself some space to figure this out. What kind of support do you need to show up consistently for your dreams in 2022? Getting the support you need is how you plan to succeed. Now, as we went through all the other prompts in this series, you essentially did a big brainstorm about 2022. And you might not actually want to plan for or act on all of the ideas that came up in this brainstorm. That's fine. What you're going to do next is go through all of the journaling you've done so far in this series and compile your official list for 2022. Look at the ideas you've got and choose the ones that you're going to act on. These don't have to be the ones you know how to act on. These are the ones you're going to figure out. Remember, you're going to use the magic of showing up consistently to make impossible things happen. So just make this list of all the things you really want for 2022, and then we'll get your plan started. So you can pause this if you're not finished your list, or you can listen to the rest of this and then come back and finish your list later. So, what is the plan? How are you going to do this? Planning is extremely personal and also can be different for each thing on your list. So as you go into this part of figuring out the plans, I want you to hold this in your heart. As long as I keep showing up, I will figure this all out. It's that commitment to keep showing up where all of the magic happens. Your dream will heal you. Your dream will grow you into the version of you who does know how to do it. You just have to keep showing up even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you have no clue what to do next. So, keeping that in mind and doing your best to not be discouraged if there are things in your list you have no clue how to plan for. For each thing on your list, I want you to make a plan. Remembering your plan can include researching some parts, learning about how to do things, getting the support you need. One of my favorite tips for planning is just make time to sit with the questions you have. Often when we have more questions than answers, we feel like, oh, that's an obstacle, but it's actually an invitation to sit with the questions. And one thing I know for sure in all my years of coaching people on this stuff, you do not have to know how to do it all before you start doing it. Make the best plan you know how to make right now, even if it's a completely crap plan. That's fine. Make the best plan you know how to today. Show up for that plan as wholeheartedly as you can each day. And in the process, you will figure it out. So stay in the spirit of possibility. Stay connected to your creative genius, the most wise, brave, and creative part of you, and make the best plan you can make for each of your goals, and I'll leave the music to play out while you get started.